Smile isn't just a scary movie. It's also got something to say about mental health and the dark side of a happy face. Be brave and beware. Spoilers ahead. Parker Finn's new horror film Smile is a tale of trauma. Sosie Bacon plays Dr. Rose Cotter, an overworked psychiatrist in a mental hospital who's tasked with consulting a disturbed young patient. During their meeting, the patient reveals that she had recently witnessed someone take their own life, leaving her traumatized. Perhaps even more unsettling, she confides that she's been seeing visions of people smiling at her in a menacing way. Eventually, the patient pastes on a grin of her own and shockingly takes her own life. The curse of trauma is passed on to Rose. For a portion of Smile, Rose merely has to bear the brunt of her newly acquired curse. Rose had already been living through a lifetime of trauma after being raised by a mentally ill mother and witnessing her suicide when she was 10. Witnessing a new death may or may not have been a breaking point for her. Rose does discover, however, that there is a pattern at play. Thanks to the investigation of a friend on the police force, Rose finds that not only had her smiling patient witness a suicide, but that the man she saw die had also witnessed a suicide. The person he saw die had also witnessed someone take their own lives, and so on, for at least 20 different deaths.
I wanted to create a film that feels like an escalating nightmare.
Smile ultimately envisions this pattern of death as being orchestrated by an unnamed supernatural being that feeds on trauma. A ghostly demonic presence takes control of a victim and assures that self-inflicted violence is seen by the next person in the chain. It's unclear just how long this demon has been around. Rose returns to her childhood home to ensure that she will be alone. Should the entity get the better of her, there will be no witnesses it can pass the curse onto. In the now dilapidated building, Rose can confront the ghost of her dead mother and openly explain that pain and anguish are intergenerational. Like a genetic condition, trauma is frequently passed to others. Rose literally faces her inner demon. For all its paranormal leanings, Smile is ultimately pretty responsible with its psychological aspects. But why the smile? The demonic grin seen on the face of the trauma monster's ghostly avatars could be seen as a satire of a brave face. Anyone facing extreme psychological difficulty has likely heard the old and often less than useful advice of hoisting yourself up and putting on a brave face. Smile and the world smiles with you. Don't worry, be happy. But however well-intentioned they may be, sentiments like this are often meaningless, or at least feel meaningless to someone going through trauma. The monster understands that smiling is a mask, a front put up by people wanting to project happiness they do not feel. Mocking this phenomenon, the monster turns smiling into part of the trauma. Filmmaker Parker Finn confirmed as much in an interview with Cinema Blend, saying, "I was really interested in kind of investigating the sort of stuff that we're all carrying around inside of our heads, whether it's our fears, anxieties, traumas, and what we do to try to mask that from the world. And then at the same time, I wanted to explore and really place the audience in the shoes of a character who feels like their mind is turning against them, and what that might be like to experience, and sort of present that in a way that audiences may not have thought of before." Additionally, the smile might be seen as a specific technique that the unnamed monster has perfected in order to enhance a potential victim's trauma experience. A scream in pain would mark a more normal human response. The smile removes clear explanations and ordinary humanity. Also, to put it simply, the smiles are just plain scary. The monster in Smile has perfected a skill. That skill just happens to be terrorizing others. And as it turns out, it's a skill that the filmmaker behind Smile also appears to share.